For an oligarchy to be successful, you kind of need to bring together both government and private businesses. But there's one problem. No one trusts anybody anymore, especially the government. I want to show you a chalkboard of mine I did several years ago, and it started out where I told my staff, it was like 2017, 2018, I said, we have to watch for these things. I boiled them all down to this. Polarization and civil unrest, critical stage, 1930s European levels, Nazis, Antifa, right and left extremes. I'd say we have that one. Economic destabilization, critical stage, central bank failure, stock market plunge, price collapse. I think this is coming, but I also think it came in a different way. It didn't hit the top, it hit the bottom with COVID. Then tech disruption. Critical stage, jobs, finance, communication, and privacy. You got a problem with privacy? How are we communicating? Are they cutting anybody off yet? And all of because of COVID, a lot of those jobs that are going to be lost are already starting to change. The big one here, so I would say we have somewhat this. This one, the trust implosion. I said, I don't know when this is happening, and I don't know if they're going to go in order, but this is the one I really worried about, the trust implosion. It was going to include government, media, tech, finance, justice, corporation, and education. I'd say a big check on that one. That would lead to all of these people needing each other and protect against you. So they would all form together to merge into what I said was a new world order. Didn't know at the time. It would be called the Great Reset. That's it. The trust implosion would be the final catalyst for change. It's interesting how the WEF themed their conference this year, Building Trust. This is a trust barometer used by the World Economic Forum. I want you to take a look at their version of my chalkboard. Look at this. They go all the way back. Do you have it? There it is. They go all the way back to 2001 with public trust in corporations breaking in 2009. Their solution in 2011 was the merging of business with the government. But there's a huge problem. The trust in government plummeted in 2012. By 2021, they declared full-on information bankruptcy. That's this year. In other words, no one trusts anything or anyone anymore. That's true. But their solution is merging business with government, media with the government. This is the exact same thing I saw coming, and I was warning, but they are saying this is going to be good. It's not. They want so badly to convince you that the government and corporations can be trusted. They need your consent when industries like Silicon Valley finally made it official to sign a deal with Washington. Listen to this from Salesforce CEO Mark Benioff at the conference.
In the pandemic, it was CEOs in many cases all over the world who were the heroes. They are the ones who stepped forward with their financial resources, their corporate resources, their employees, their factories, and pivoted rapidly, not for profit, but to save the world.
So they saved the world. They also saved their corporations and made an awful lot of money. But the little guy, he did nothing but sit at home and not work. They were the heroes? Okay, the first high-profile speaker on day one of last week's conference was the Chinese president. I kid you not. And I believe there's a very specific reason for that. During his speech, he warned of a new Cold War and stressed the importance of working together. Then he laid out a four-step plan to moving forward, which included macroeconomic policy coordination. The World Economic Forum was giddy. They posted that speech all over the place, but they left off one thing. The fact that the Chinese president also said the world needed to stop interfering in China's internal affairs. In other words, we can do business with each other. Just look the other way when we commit genocide on our own people. The Great Reset. Those people want the world to emulate China's economic model, but they conveniently ignore their human rights abuse. I have a little question for them. What do you expect from an authoritarianism? The human rights abused every single time there's an autocrat in. Because China sees their people as consumers only. That's where the world is going. I've been sounding the alarm over financial institutions, especially lately BlackRock, who has multiple people right at the presidential level with the Biden administration. They are advising the Federal Reserve who to invest in the stock market. Now, they've said publicly that they're going to stop giving money to companies that don't adhere to their climate agenda. Their CEO, who was a candidate for the Treasury Department, spoke at the conference last week on how much they're looking to spend to pull all of this off.
We're going to need $50 trillion of investing to get to a net zero world. And so it's not a small price tag, but the opportunity is going to be large.
$50 trillion. Just so you know, if we took all the money that every corporation, every person made every year for the year's GDP, the global GDP, put it all in one big pile, it'd be $37 trillion. Are we going to print our way to the Great Reset? By the way, BlackRock just changed their policy. If you don't abide by climate change rules, they're not going to invest in you. Coca-Cola announced yesterday, listen to it on our program, that they're also not going to do business with you if you don't have equity rules. It's insane what's happening. It's an end run around the Constitution. And by the way, if you don't think your taxes are going to go up, really, figure that one out. All the money is going to be doled out to the hand-selected companies. Those that do not comply will get left behind. Left behind. Tough luck, kid.